Good morning, guys, and welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, May 15th, 2018, and let's get our market report started. Let's open the charts right here, and the first thing we're going to take a look at is the silver price. Okay, it's sick today. This is sick. This is the reason why they're keeping people from investing in silver and gold, right here. This is the reason why. This is a massive smackdown going on this morning, right now, as we speak. They've knocked it down. It was low yesterday. The price was low. They knocked it down 25 cents. That's a lot when the price of silver is this low. And this is the reason why they're scaring off people from investing in it. This is the reason why they're able to keep the silver price down like this, keep it suppressed, is the reason why they're able to keep this game going. Seriously. They're shaking people out of the tree, even that even hold silver and stuff now. They're shaking them out of the tree, and they're selling. Some of the people are actually selling their silver at these ridiculously low prices because they're scared of it as an investment, because they've been able to successfully. It's one of the few things that haven't really kept up with the price of inflation, because they've been keeping the price so suppressed. Everything else is going up in price. We see everything else going up in price except silver's going down or staying down, low in price, like it used to be years ago. Cheaper than it was 5 years ago. You couldn't buy it this cheap. And they're keeping the price down. And what's happening is in the end, if they let me use a really strange example of what would happen in the end if they kept it suppressed like this and the prices on everything else kept going up. In the end, these companies that use things like brass right now or copper to make things out of, say a company that might make locks, if they keep the silver price down and copper prices keep going up and these other prices and nickel and metals like that, say they use nickel to make their lock right now, in the end, maybe 5 years from now, the company guy might say, hey, you know what? We can make these locks out of silver just as cheap as nickel now at this point, or very close in price. And so they might actually start using it in other parts of industry because it's so cheap. And at the same time, you would think, hey, you would have to have a bountiful supply to start using it because it's so cheap. Generally, when things are that cheap, it's because you have a bountiful supply. Right? But because of this price suppression game, you don't have a bountiful supply of silver. And you can see where I'm going with this. Ultimately, knocking the price down, everything else is going up and up and up. Evidently, in the end, a chunk of meat in the grocery store will be worth its weight in silver. Seriously, if the prices keep going up. You've seen the prices of meat? You go down the meat aisle in the store, and honest to goodness, it looks like bars of silver and gold. Seriously, the price of meat will be more than the price of silver in the end if they keep going with this garbage. Anyway, I have to laugh at it. I mean, what else can you do? You might as well laugh as cry. Boy, they're good at knocking the price down on this stuff. They've got such tight control over the silver market. But I'm going to tell you what. When they lose control of this puppy, this is going to be massive. This is where you're going to see massive gains in this when they finally do lose control over it. But what control they've had. I have to clap for them. What control they've had over this market. Okay, let's move on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a market they're trying to control too. And they've been somewhat successful. I say somewhat successful, not completely successful, but somewhat successful at controlling the price. 87.43 right now this morning on Bitstamp. And we're seeing a price that's starting to heat up a little bit again. It touched the bottom of 82.08 there, and it's starting to heat up again a little bit. It's starting to head up. But I don't see it going too much. I could see it making up at a high probably of 11,000 in the short term before the market crash. I could see it getting to 11,000 Bitcoin if everything works out perfect, you know, and it could go as high as 11,000 before the market crash. Bitcoin, this is nothing though. This is nothing. The cryptocurrencies right now, this is nothing compared to how high they're going to go at a certain point when the hyperinflation starts to come into the picture. It's unlimited how high they can go. It's going to be a massive increases in price. Now, let's take a look at the cryptocurrency market capitalizations this morning. So, but we're back up over 400 billion. 407 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 36.7%. Everything mostly is in the green today. Bitcoin Cash 1419. Some of the big movers today. Litecoin had a pretty good little move of 4.29% to 145 bucks. Stellar 2.67%. IOTA is up. IOTA's got quite a little big move there, 6.37%. Tron is one of the few coins that's down today. Dash moved 8%. I knew Dash at under $400 was a good buy. $443 now. And so everything's looking pretty good on that end of the spectrum for Bitcoins and those currencies. Now, I wanted to point out something to you guys that's very interesting here before we get to the Dow Jones, because you know, the Dow's probably up and running. What's going on here? My internet is crashed, guys. My internet is crashed. I haven't got any internet. I just noticed it now. Let me take a look at the Dow Jones. She's down 137 points as of right now, I think. But my internet, I'm showing a signal that my internet has crashed. Yeah, no internet connection. Okay, listen, guys. The Dow Jones looks like she's down a little bit this morning. We can take a look at oil here, even though my internet's down. As long as I don't refresh the page, I'm okay. I'll have to go after the show's over and check out, see why my internet's down. Crude oil is 71.47 right now, and it's been going up. It's up today, 51 cents so far. I'm going to talk about one thing before we stop the show here this morning. Mueller. Let me take a look at this guy. You know, get a little bit closer. You know, Mueller, a special prosecutor. I get a kick out of this right here, this article. Russian companies that Mueller is indicted, they don't even exist. That's a real good waste of taxpaying money, isn't it? To indict companies that don't even exist. This week, one of the Russian companies accused by Special Counsel Robert Mueller of funding a conspiracy to meddle in the 2016 U.S. presidential election was revealed in court to not even have existed during the time period alleged by Mueller's team of prosecutors, according to a lawyer representing the defendant. Oh, my goodness. What a way to waste taxpaying money. He wasted so much taxpaying money, you know. Honest to goodness, over this Russian collusion business. Well, the Democrats were pushing. They wanted to prove Russian collusion. They wanted anything they could find, actually. One of their first claims that they made against Donald Trump to try to get rid of him, they said, he's a clown. He's a clown. We got to get rid of him. He's no good. We can't have him for president because he's a clown. A clown. Well, nobody's calling him a clown now. You know what I mean? Then they moved on to he's a misogynist, he's a racist, and he's a bigot. We got to get rid of him. We can't have him for president because he's a misogynist, a racist, and a bigot. Misogynist, racist, bigot, and all this kind of stuff. Then they did the whole "not my president" campaign. They went on and on and on and on and on about different things. And Russian collusion. And then they went on to the whole thing about, well, he didn't really get all the votes he said he got. We got to do a recount. It's just one thing. Talk about sore losers. Talk about sore losers, and talk about coming up with all these different things. Why? They even attacked his wife. They said, well, she wears the wrong kind of hats, or she wears the wrong kind of shoes. So now we can't have him as president. Then one of the things that they pulled was that they were going to just go ahead and no more Donald Trump. They were going to oh, I'm having a brain fart right now. But anyway, they were going to impeach him. That's the word I'm looking for, impeach him. For nothing. They didn't have any reason why they're going to impeach him. They're just going to impeach him. Let's impeach him. With no reason. You know, you need a reason to impeach somebody. Anyway, okay, the one thing we haven't looked at this morning, I got to get on to, is the U.S. dollar. And I should look at it. Oh, there. No internet, but it's nixed me on that. But anyway, the U.S. dollar's up, and it's up substantially today. And anyway, 93 point something. It was. I can't remember the exact numbers. It was 93.23 or something like that. I gotta get onto this and fix this internet connection. I'm sorry, guys. The dollar's up, though. It's up over the 92. It's up, made it up into the 93s. Listen, thank you guys for listening to this market report. And I'm going to process this video and try to get the thing back online and try to get the number up for you on the processing of what the dollar is. So thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye.